Hello friends, my name is JT Tapias and I'm a professional fitness life coach with the Empty Your Bucket nutrition plan. But more importantly, I am Pastor Allen Parr's nutrition coach. You probably saw this video here that he shot a couple of months ago where he lost 35 pounds in 90 days. That is correct, 35 pounds in 90 days. More importantly, he's been able to keep the weight off and he reports being more energetic. He reports being stronger in all areas of life. More importantly, he says that his spiritual walk has been edified and strengthened by this particular activity that he did, this desire that he had to really bring his body to the next level. And it wasn't just his body, but it was his mind, his body, and his spirit. In this video, he goes on to speak about 3 spiritual principles that are needed in order to bring your goals to fruition. He talks about number 1, he says that you need determination. Number 2, he says that you need direction. And number 3, he says that you need discipline. Now, discipline is that word that makes most of us cringe, right? Because as kids, we've been told, you got to do your bed, you got to do your homework, you got to be disciplined. And so as adults, we tend to kind of shun away from this whole word discipline. But hear me out. I think it's important because this not only edifies you physically, but more importantly, this edifies you spiritually. And when your spirit is impacted, I truly believe that all areas of your life are impacted. Now, in this video, he says that this video is not about weight loss. He says this video is about getting unstuck in different areas of your life where you may or may not be stuck, right? Most of us experience challenges. Most of us feel stuck in some areas. Most of us have hit some kind of plateau in our relationship, in our finances, in our physical being. And he says this video is exactly about that. I love that Pastor Allen basically parallels his journey with what the Apostle Paul says about his determination and his direction and his discipline in regards to his ministry, right? And it's important to understand this because in 1 Corinthians 9:24, the Apostle Paul basically gives us a blueprint on why he was so determined. If you ever read the book of Acts and you see the story of Paul and how Paul's conversion came about, you wonder what took that man from going in one direction to a complete opposite direction and writing 13 epistles inside of the New Testament and becoming one of the most prolific writers in the Bible after being an enemy of Christianity. You have to think and say, what changed that man's mind? Well, he was determined, he had direction, and he had discipline in place. And so let's read here in 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27, this blueprint that he gives us for these 3 spiritual principles. And it says, "Do you not know that in a race all runners run, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable. So do not run aimlessly, do not box as one beating the air, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified." I would say that the Apostle Paul was petrified of being disqualified. This was the thing that would wake him up every day, have him walk to different towns and countries and cities and get in shipwrecks and all sorts of situations because he was determined, right? He had direction and he had discipline in his life. And this is what allowed him to run this race so incredibly well. And so these are the 3 principles needed in order to really bring any of your goals to fruition. And Pastor Allen Parr parallels the Apostle Paul's story with his story. And now you understand how someone in 90 days can lose 35 pounds. My friends, if I were to actually show you a mass of what 35 pounds is, you would not believe your eyes. I am talking about something way bigger than what you see here between my hands. And it is a tremendous amount of weight to lose in such a short period of time. And of course, the skeptics are always saying, well, he lost all that weight, probably regained it. He's actually kept it off, right? He's actually stayed at his baseline weight. He feels incredible and he's producing more in terms of his ministry and the things that he does on a daily basis, right? And more importantly, these aren't things that we have personally spoken about, but I'm sure he's been impactful to his family, right? His family has actually seen an example in him as a spiritual leader from this stewardship perspective, because we look at weight loss, we look at this fitness journey, not as the world looks at it from an aesthetic destination, but more importantly, we see it from a stewardship perspective. And so, of course, this has been an incredible journey for him. And as I said in the beginning of my video, I'm sure when you saw this video at first, it brought some conviction. You thought about it. He mentions in the video reaching out to me, his coach, if you want to do something like this, if you're interested in a journey like this. And most likely, one of three things happened. You either reached out, which, by the way, some of the people that reached out are already 30, 40, and 50 pounds down. That's correct. We have some incredible testimonials from this particular video of people just reaching out, moving forward, getting past their fears, getting past, their procrastination, and actually reaching out and meeting incredible goals. We have story after story after story. To be exact, we had about 60 people come through that saw that video and were impacted and said, I need determination, I need direction, and I need discipline in my life. Can you help me do that? And so we put a plan in place, and shortly after, they brought their goals to fruition. My friend, my question to you is, what area of life are you stuck in? Is it your finances? Is it your marriage? Is it your physical being? Do you need to make some changes? Can I just say one thing? I want to encourage you, as someone who is also in ministry, I want to encourage you, and I want to say this. We all want to run a determined race. We all want to run a directional race, right? We want to know the direction we're going in. And more importantly, we want to be able to produce that day after day through discipline. I'm gonna harp on these three principles as much as possible, because even if you don't reach out to me or you decide to just listen to this video and do nothing with it, I want you to remember that. We all want to run the race, so at the end of the day, when we go in the presence of a sovereign God, we are not disqualified. Now, I'm not saying that because you're not physically well or because you're stuck in this area that's not going to happen. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying that we want to make the most of our time, and we want to be good stewards, great stewards of the temple of the Holy Spirit. If this is you, my friend, I would love to speak with you. There's a link down below for you to connect with me. If this is your first time on my channel, I'd love to encourage you to hit the subscribe button, the bell notifications, so that every time I release information like this, you will be the first one to know. Guys, today we spoke about 3 spiritual principles that will help you get unstuck. I wanted to revisit this video that Pastor Allen Parr did a couple of months ago, remind you, bring conviction, and hopefully move you in the right direction. If you've heard this, if this has brought conviction to you, I would love nothing more than to chat with you. My name is JT Tapias, professional fitness life coach with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. I will speak with you soon. Ciao, ciao.